Welcome to this video on functions, and today we are going to look at sketching the graphs of quadratic functions, also known as parabolas. So if we have a look at that first example, you will see that it's written in the format here, which we call the turning point format. I'll show you how to use it. So we start with step number 1, which is to get the shape of this graph. Now this shape is determined by the number in front of the bracket. In this case it's a 2. It's positive, so it will be a little smiley face. Right, step 2 would be my axis of symmetry. Now when it is in this format, all you do is you take your bracket and you take the inside of the bracket, set it equal to 0, and then get your x alone. Now that leads to step number 3, which is your turning point. And for your turning point, you then already have your x value, as your axis of symmetry lies on your turning point, or your turning point lies on your axis of symmetry. So therefore you have your -1. Then to get your y value, just read it off. It's right here at the back. So it's -8. Step 4 would be to get my x-intercepts. Get your x-intercepts, you let y equal 0. So therefore 0 equals 2 times x plus 1 squared minus 8. 8 equals 2 times x plus 1 squared. The idea is to isolate the x, divide by 2, so 4 equals x plus 1 squared. Get rid of the square by square rooting both sides, so it's positive or -2 equals x plus 1, get the x alone, so therefore -1 plus or -2 equals x. So -1 minus 2 is -3, or -1 plus 2 is +1. And just remember to write these as coordinates, so it's -3 and 0, and 1 and 0. And then step 5 would be to get your y-intercept. And to get your y-intercept, you let x equal 0. So y equals 2 times 0 plus 1 squared minus 8. That gives you y equals 2 times 1 minus 8. And therefore y equals -6. Coordinate 0 and -6. So when asked to draw this and you don't have a Cartesian plane, all you do is you draw a little smiley face. Turning point, -1 and -8. Put you in your x-axis. And remember to just put in your coordinates, so -3 and 0, and 1 and 0. And then my y-axis should be somewhere over here. And then don't forget about your y-intercept, so 0 and -6. As easy as that. So what if we just have it in standard form? You should be familiar with this format. We used it in our quadratic equations. So let's have a look at this example. So step number 1 will also be the shape. So all we do is we look at the coefficient of the x squared, and in this case it is a -1. So therefore it will be a sad face. Then we have a look at our axis of symmetry. Now for our axis of symmetry, we're going to use a formula. And the formula we're going to use will be x equals -b over 2a. Now please remember, your a is your coefficient of x squared, which is -1. Your b value is the coefficient of x, which is 4. And your c is your constant value, which is -3. So in this case, it will be x equals -4 over 2 times -1. So it will be x equals 2. That then leads us to our turning point. And for our turning point, we already have our x value, which is 2. And now to get our y value, we're just going to substitute it back into our original equation. So f of 2, so we get -2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 3. So therefore f of 2 equals, it will be -4 plus 8 minus 3. So therefore, f of 2 will be negative 4 plus 8 is 4, minus 3 is 1. Then step number 4 will be the x-intercepts. To get the x-intercepts, you let your y value equal 0. So 0 equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 3. Now, you are welcome to use your quadratic formula if you are unable to factorize. I'm just going to divide by 0 quickly. Then I get my 2 factors. And therefore, x is positive 3 or x equals positive 1. So therefore, 3, 0 and 1, 0. Always remember that it is quite possible sometimes to have no x-intercept. So just have a look and use your quadratic formula if need be. So to get my y-intercepts, I make x equal to 0. So therefore, y equals, and it will be negative 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 3. And it will be y equals negative 3. So therefore, 0 and negative 3. Right, so what we are going to do then is we're going to draw. So it's a sad face. We have a turning point at 2 and 1. We have our x-intercepts at 1 and 0. And over here at 3 and 0. And then our y-axis. And therefore, my y-intercept at 0 and negative 3. Thank you for watching this video, and please go and subscribe to our channel. If you want to see some more videos and you want us to make something that you are battling with, please remember to ask.